Good morning. How the heck are you today? Joshua Young's The Medicare Machine coming at you from the Medicare Machine Factory with today's agent tip of the day. And today I want to talk about activity. I get this question a lot. I get questions about direct mail. How do I create leads? How do I create activity? All the time. And here's what I would recommend. You want to use what I would call a fabric approach. You want to use a multi-layered approach. You want to use a combination of grassroots, of direct mail, and also digital marketing on some level, so they all work synergistically to pull on the same rope for you. In essence, think of it like a funnel, and you're trying to use those three things to funnel activity into the top of your funnel, where at the bottom you have highly qualified prospects. And so for me, there's two different ways you can approach it. You can approach it with more of a bland, generic, non-branded, almost governmental look, where you have maybe higher return rates, higher responses, more leads, higher quantity. So if you're running a team and you're trying to get more leads for more mouths to feed, then you're not as concerned about quality and you're more concerned about quantity. As an individual producer, if you're just an agent by yourself, if you're building your own business, for me, my preference in personal production is going to be towards quality of lead. I'd rather work, if I'm going to have to work a lead, I hate leads, right? I'd rather work referrals. We all would rather work referrals. But if I have to work a lead, then I want it to be the highest quality, most qualified, highest chance of success type of activity. And so I'd rather have less leads of a higher quality than more leads of a lower quality. And so I like high quality when it comes to the lead game. And so how you do that is a combination of 3 or 4 things. And so on your direct mail piece, you should have a QR code that directs people to the funnel. You should have the phone call, the phone number. That's a separate funnel, but your phone funnel to catch phone calls goes to a certain number. And if you can, you want to use a number that's trackable, that tracks, hopefully your CRM system or whatever you're using for the funnel system tracks those phone calls for you. That way you have data on how effective stuff is. You want numbers on this stuff. On your direct mail pieces, use a different QR code each time. That way you can get data in each one. You know how many times it was clicked. You know how effective that particular initiative was. I also recommend doing branded direct mail versus generic direct mail. I've done both, but the more I've gone towards branded, the higher quality at the end result usually ends up being. And what you want to do is on the QR code, you want them to go to a landing page, not a website. On the landing page, you want to have a video, you want to have a little bit of content below, and you want to have a call to action where they exchange some information of theirs and permission to contact in exchange for some type of magnet, a brochure, an informational pamphlet, flyer, anything. You want to have some type of bait that allows someone to exchange in their mind. I'm willing to exchange my contact information for this magnet, this piece of information, this value. You got to give value, and then you got to learn how to follow up with proper angle, the proper presentation, and that comes into play with the whole synergistic thing. So for my agency, it's about peace of mind, and so every step of the way is about making things simple, easy to understand, and quick, efficient. The process goes quickly. Most people are like, "What? That's all? That's all it took?" Yes, that's all it took, because you're working with a professional. So you want to create an experience, your funnel experience. Direct mail is a big piece. Like for me, it's the cornerstone piece, because the population that's still aging in still appreciates the old times, the old school days, the handwritten note versus the email or text. They'd rather have a phone call than that. Now, just remember, they're also being barraged. And so you got to do something to stand out. Less is more. Remember, on an advertising piece, it's really about 1 or 2 points of pain and the pleasure point. So here's the pain point, how you can fix it. Scan this QR code, call this number, go to this website. You can give them 3 actions. Or if you have a brick and mortar, have one of the options be stop in the office today, depending on where you're targeting on that kind of stuff. So be very creative when it comes to your direct mail pieces. Be generic. Again, I try to stay away from using sales pieces, because then they have to be typically company branded, and they go through a whole lot of more levels of compliance than if you use a generic piece. And a generic piece that's branded to you, it's really more about brand recognition, and you're trying to get them to get into the funnel, so they watch a video, or they absorb some content. Maybe you educate them before you even meet them. That's the power of having a YouTube channel where you're consistently pumping out content. having a Facebook page where you're consistently pumping out content, and not just any content, put out quality content. I challenged myself in the beginning of this process to give one agent tip of the day, and the farther into this you get and you start doing things, you go, what am I going to talk about? Well, when you really start sitting down and really analyzing, what are all the complexities, what are all the layers, what are all the steps, you can really start breaking stuff down and do one piece and one chunk at a time, because that's really what people want to absorb anyway. They want to learn incrementally. They want to learn it all. You didn't learn math. You didn't learn calculus day one. First, you learned basic arithmetic. You learned complex stuff like algebraic equations, and you went maybe to trigonometry, and you leveled up through different levels of that stuff, where you eventually end up at calculus if you want to. Same thing here. You've got to have a process, and start with being true and authentic to yourself. Having a brand. You got to have a brand. If you don't have a brand, what are you doing? You're running a business without a brand name. You need a brand name, you need a brand logo, you need brand colors, you need a brand presence, you need branding. Branding is part of the whole thing, because then you can have everything branded. Everything matches in color, everything's in concert, everything's pulling on the same rope, funneling them to the same opportunity. And what you'll find is over time, you'll learn how to dial in your marketing and your advertising to attract the people that you want, the people that you're most likely to build a relationship with, the people that you're most likely to convert into lifetime relationships, which is really what the game is. It's not about leads, it's not about activity. It's about how many relationships can you build, how many people can you care about, how many lives can you change. And the direct mail piece is a big part of that. So again, circle back around. Branding, branding, branding. Picture. You should have a professional headshot. And don't be afraid to put your picture on stuff. But own your brand. Your face, in some levels, is your brand. You are the brand, right? But you want to have a logo. You want to have colors. You want to have, like for me, I didn't pick one color. In the beginning, I had a choice. Do I go with one color all the time? Do I want to be the Best Buy or the Target guy with the polo and all that? Or the State Farm, whatever? They have branding with what they wear because of color schemes and the logo. For me, I wanted to be able to dress differently, so I have different colors, different color schemes. However, I try to have the hat match the shirt, match the shoes, match the watch. I try to have things in concert, because then it looks like a fully seamless brand. Again, the power of the brand is trust. The power of trust is the relationship's easier to build when there's some trust and credibility. People feel better about a big company than they do about a small company. Why? Because they can go back to the big company and complain and do other things and get things done. So you want to operate like a big company with a small company feel, with a small company with family style orientation. That's the beauty of this. You choose the adventure. You choose how it works. Start with branding. Start with a piece. Use QR codes. Use funnels. Use automation. Get out there. Help somebody today. That's today's agent tip of the day. Were you taking notes? You should have been. If not, don't worry. Like, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for another installation of the agent tip of the day. What do we do with the Medicare Machine Factory? We help top 20% agents become top 1%. And we also have programs if you're not in the top 20% and you want to get there. There's another game for that. We have stuff for that too. We have programs for that. We have awesome individuals for that in the Medicare Machine Factory. So have a great day. Get out there, help somebody. We'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you then.